My name is Marisa Smiler-Cairns. I'm a proud Yolŋu and Wardaman woman with strong connections to Aotearoa. I'm a third-generation Aboriginal Health Practitioner trained by the same Aboriginal medical service that supported generations of my family. During my pregnancy, I was never informed that I was at risk of having a preterm birth. I had heard the term premature baby and knew that some babies were born too early, but I didn't have a deep understanding of what preterm birth really meant or how serious and life-changing it could be for some families. I had always felt incredibly fortunate with how healthy both my pregnancy and I had been. I didn't smoke and I had never smoked. I attended all my antenatal appointments. Like the many health professionals that I had seen throughout my journey, I was confident that I would carry to full term. One evening, as my partner and I were getting ready to go out for dinner, I noticed what seemed to be a slow leak. We decided it was best to visit the maternity ward and have it checked, just to be sure it wasn't amniotic fluid. Initially, the clinical staff at the hospital believed it wasn't amniotic fluid. However, after testing, it was confirmed that I had a hind water leak. The doctors and the midwives made the decision to admit me overnight so that both the baby and I could be monitored. I remember sitting in my hospital bed after my partner had gone home to get my hospital bag, feeling scared, upset, and completely out of control. All of my plans for the birth suddenly felt like they had been swept away. I was deeply concerned for my unborn baby and overwhelmed by the sense of uncertainty. Jacqueline-Rose was born at 36 weeks, weighing 2.68 kilos. Since I had given birth in a small regional hospital, there had been talk of us flying to Darwin, but thankfully the doctors decided it wasn't necessary. Other than a heart murmur that lasted a few weeks after birth, Jacqueline was doing well. However, from around 12 months old, Jacqueline was diagnosed with chronic suppurative lung disease. This led to multiple care flights to Darwin due to how severely unwell she would become. The first 4 years of her life were incredibly challenging, filled with hospital stays, uncertainty, and constant worry. Despite all of this, there have been many beautiful moments and milestones we've celebrated with Jackie. She's shown so much strength and resilience, and today you would never guess that she was born preterm. Preventing early birth matters to me because every child deserves a strong, healthy start in life. I think about how fragile and formative those first moments are and how much of a difference it makes when a baby is born full term. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. When early birth is prevented, it means fewer painful experiences for families, fewer lifelong health challenges for children, and more moments of peace and joy for everybody involved. I do feel that having more information about preterm birth earlier in pregnancy would have been helpful. That said, as a first-time mum, I was already overwhelmed with the sheer amount of information we were given. I remember receiving a plastic sleeve filled with at least 20 different pamphlets, and honestly, I didn't read any of them at the time. I believe that conversations and storytelling play a huge role in how we learn and make sense of different life experiences. Giving women the chance to connect with other mums who have gone through a preterm birth and hear their stories would be incredibly valuable. It's often through shared experiences that we truly understand and feel supported. I've spoken with and worked alongside many women who have been flown from regional hospitals to major city hospitals for urgent medical care. While some have shared moments of hope or brief positives from the experience, many describe it as deeply frightening and overwhelming. Without sharing stories that aren't mine to tell, I want to acknowledge the significant barriers these women often face. Mothers in regional and remote settings face significant challenges. For some, English is a second or even third language. Many are first-time mothers or mothers who've had to leave their children behind with extended family, often with very little notice. Some have never been to major cities or hospitals before, making the experience even more intimidating. Beyond the emotional toll, these women frequently deal with cultural disconnection, financial stress, and systematic racism and discrimination within the healthcare system. Often, they'll go through this all alone, whether due to the urgency of the transfer or lack of funding, accommodation, or resources. Many women are flown out without a support person. And when support is available, that person might also struggle with unfamiliar environments, limited English, or navigating a hospital system that feels foreign and unwelcoming. These challenges are real, and they deserve to be recognised and addressed. My preterm birth experience has inspired me to advocate for stronger representation of First Nations women's voices in maternity health.